All right. Hello, hello. So I'm going to go over this trailer that I have for sale. Well, trailer and equipment. Um, but I'm going to try to go over it in detail, just so that some of the guys, since I'm in the business of training now after almost 20 years, I'll go over some of the small detail stuff that can really make a difference when you're doing a build, or just give some people, some different ideas along the way. So if I can remember to keep this in landscape. Let's see. So, um, major stuff: 2 8 gallon a minute, 12-volt burner, Comet P40, the 2026 model, and remote control for that. Water tank is 300, I believe it is. Which typically, when I would have 2 8 gallon a minutes, I would have one a little bit larger. This originally was going to be an 8 and a 5.5 gallon a minute, but they didn't have a 5.5 available, so I went ahead with the 8. But especially if you're doing commercial, the 300 is plenty. Even in even in residential, something I was going to do if I kept going. If I ever needed two machines, maybe doing soft washing or home, just throttle back one machine that's going to be doing the soaping. Have it at, let's see, even if you went down to 5.5 gallons a minute, your pressure would drop to probably 2,700. I'm just guessing, but I mean, it's still plenty to soft wash to apply the soap. So, that's one good way to always preserve water if you're getting low on it, especially on the soaping side, because it takes longer to rinse. So you would want to have your higher flow machine on your rinsing. So we'll start with this Buyer's waterproof box. Got all the electrical in here. So I've got two Group 27 deep cycle batteries, and if you can't tell by the size on here, most batteries that come with systems are Group 24. So Group 27 just gives a little bit more capacity. These are most of this stuff, except what's obvious, you'll see, was bought this year in 2026. So obviously I wasn't planning on selling this. You'll get more details of that in the post. So I did plan for, if I or someone else wanted to, run these batteries in parallel. Got the cables here. So parallel, you just run positive to positive, negative to negative, and that just gives you twice as much capacity. It doesn't change your voltage, it stays at 12 volt. If you wanted to do one of the new 24 volt Zeus pumps, then you could, hook this up in series and get your 24 volt. So we've got our main on off for everything up here. We've got one distribution block here. These are the two pressure washers and the burner. And then over here, these two, that's the, let's see, Honda GX 200 that has the Comet P40. And then this is the Midwest remote control system. And then got a fan over here, and I've wired in this battery charger. So I've got it wired directly into this, which is just a waterproof socket there. So you can charge your batteries and keep your box closed, keep everything watertight. And speaking of watertight, if those that may not know, in the wash industry, anything electrical, you will always be better spending a little bit extra money on anything that's made for the marine industry. All this came from West Marine. Anything in the marine industry is made for salt water. So that's works great since we're around bleach and the byproduct is salt. So it makes a huge difference. One thing is, all the wiring is tinned copper, so you don't want just regular, golden copper. you want it to be tin to copper, and I'll show you some loose fittings when we get inside. But that helps tremendously with corrosion. So let's see, I'll turn this on. Right now I just got this fan wired up directly because me, at the end of the day, I just turn it off. I also haven't been washing every day since I do training with the trailer without. So, you know, we could easily put in a switch over here for the fan. Let's see. So this is the remote setup for the Comet P40. And I'll show you this light up here. You can see that light on and off there. That's the indicator light if you're on water flush or if you're applying chemical. So that's nice. But then also, I'll go ahead and show you here. These remotes are two-way, so you get an indicator light on here that tells you whether the other end here received the signal or not. Because you won't always be able to see your indicator light if you're on the other side of a building, because these will work a long way. I think they're rated for over a mile. I'm not sure, but you know, you can work on any job site. So they're really great, completely waterproof. Let's see. So right now, if I hit the button, you get on the top right, you get an indicator light. It's green. Definitely know it went through. But if I turn the battery off, our light's off now. Hit this. It's green at first, but then it turns red. So you know it did not receive the signal, which is so important. I've used the other ones in the past, just the one-way remote types, the cheaper two-button ones, and it is so frustrating not knowing whether you've gone to soap or from rinse, usually from soap to water, because then you're just waiting there, especially if you got 300 feet of hose, and then it doesn't come, then you have to go back to the truck and check, and yada yada yada. So this is something else I was going to try out. You could hook it up to the fan and set it to come on automatically, say every hour for 20 minutes or something of that nature. I was just going to play around with it, but I just hadn't got to it. All right, I think that covers everything. Oh, I've got forgot the battery voltage right out here. So the bottom one is for the second battery. But I don't have it hooked up that way right now. I did go ahead and run the wire, so if we wanted to. But since I'm running it just individual batteries right now, it doesn't really matter. So let's see, all the wire is ran through your waterproof flex conduit. Got some disk storage here. Got our downstream manifold here. And I'll be honest, if you've had one of these, I almost guarantee you've broken off one of these hose barbs. I have twice. And so I just decided a while back just to put my soap in with my bleach. So, you know, we can get another barb if you want to have one, because this is your water, flush out your downstreamer, bleach, soap, but now just everything comes through there. Flame going over. So you can see this goes up to a three-way. So I've got two bleach tanks, and I did it that way just in case. I mean, I've done too many garages, more than I want to count. You know, so if I were to do that, I could put degreaser in one of them instead of bleach. Just leaving options there. So on the pressure washers, they're rated, you know, on the paperwork 8.5 at 4,200 psi, but you know, they're really 3,500 psi, and that's what it measures, you know, out at the gun after 200 feet. You get a full 3,500 psi. Obviously, got the remote mount for the unloaders. If you don't know, if you get one after vibration enough, they're mounted to the pump, they will leak, guaranteed. It's just a matter of when. Let's see. Oh, also this hose for the downstreamer. So this coming off the end got a drop tube. So if you've ever got a 5-gallon bucket of degreaser, something like that, you can just draw it out of there. Oh, let's get in there. And so this yellow is an eye wash station. If you don't know my story, I almost lost an eye because of about 250 psi of 6% 50-50 basically bleach in my eye. And I didn't have enough saline to rinse it out. So this has lots and plenty. So, you know, it costs a good deal. I think it was like $200 and something. And you just have to change out this water every 6 months. I've got extra stuff on the inside. So, really important, especially with employees. Don't want to get sued. Let's see, I've got a 12-volt pump down there. I haven't wired it in because I had that 12 volt before using the gas roof pump. So the plan was to get that wired up and just make it a quick connect where it can have it as a backup. One more thing I haven't got to, but you know, it's there, it's mounted, the switch is all wired in. Let's see. So we've got these 2 fuel tanks, both of them kind of upgraded to have the actual fuel gauge on them. So this is your gas, 22 gallons. This one over here is your diesel, same thing. Let's see, I got a couple yellow cones. I like to do that. I was gonna, at one time I had all yellow cones just because construction sites, it's easy to get yours swapped up, mixed up, or stolen with the other orange ones. So, but I do have these also new cones that'll go with it. We'll come back to the toolbox. Hopefully I remember. Got electric jack. Got your guns, all the different brushes you need. I call this a property completion kit. So got a squeegee rags, got water in one container, bleach buster, which is just a bleach neutralizer in that other bottle. Got magic eraser, just all the stuff you would need when you go at the end, wiping around the front door, squeegeeing glass on the front and back door, things of that nature. This is our little safety box. We've got our long chemical gloves. Don't be fooled, these white, I forget what they're called, or yeah, N95 masks, they are not for chemicals. That is because I have horrible sinus and allergies, so sometimes I wear it. But you've got the regular chemical mask in there, and regular gloves underneath that. A big fat dustpan, and your burner, of course. And this is 16-gallon soap tank. I hate losing lids, so fix that problem. And same thing up here. You probably saw earlier. Got those, so they will not come off. And the indicator light, I put on this extension pole because if you are wanting to use it, which it is nice if you're in eyesight, just to be able to look over and glance at it. So I put it on there, just kept it loose so you can flop it any which direction wherever you're working. I put cam locks on almost everything, and yes, they never leak. If you have that question, they're surprisingly very, very, very secure. I do that so when it comes wintertime, if you're going to winterize, I'll show you inside. I've got a dipstick. We'll hook up to these, turn the machines on, and do one line at a time, basically priming that line and sucking antifreeze through it so that everything gets properly winterized. Obviously, Midwest Hydro Mixer XL. So this is the newer one that is designed for the gas roof pumps. They have more flow in these valves. And this is the remote setup. So this turns your your flush from either bleach to water. So again, come up, got a splitter or three-way, choose which tank. And then this one over here is for your soap hose. And again, since I've got the soap in with the bleach right now, I don't have that connected. And then these gas pumps, you always want to have some hose on your bypass line. So I've got 35 feet of bypass hose, which helps, from not overheating as quickly. Let's see. Like I said, all this brand new this year. Anything else over here? The trailer is 14 foot. I did that intentionally so that it would fit in a garage, most garages. All right, so this lid, if you've ever lost a lid to a tank of any kind, you realize how annoying that is. So I designed this one where this lid will not come off, obviously. So I put a cam lock again on both of these. Take them off, you can just unspin the lid. You got, this one has the float valve, this one is unrestricted. And I've got flow meters on them. So this one, the unrestricted one, of course that'd be your second hookup if you ever need a secondary hookup. This one, as you can see, I do not have it ran through the hose reel. Got the, obviously, filter there, but this will tell you, hopefully it'll show up. So the big number on top is the total amount of gallons that's ran through this, and the bottom is the current flow, so 5.5 GPM, which is accurate because this house has horrible water flow. So anyway, those are automatic. They just turn on when there's flow. You can reset them if you want. So I do have water just to show you all that. Pump up sprayers. So I used to own a business, the cleaning classroom, teaching about F9 restoration products. And one of the main things is not mixing chemicals, especially bleach with acids or bleach with anything besides bleach stable surfactant. So yes, you can have one pump up sprayer and you can rinse it out thoroughly, but I like to err on the side of caution. So I've got them labeled acid, caustic, undiluted, straight bleach. Got your water-based sealer, and then this one is not labeled. I used to have a label, I think, for just pure degreaser, like undiluted. Got 300 feet, all 100-foot sections on the pressure reel, garden hose. Got 300 feet of soft wash hose. The first 100 feet is 3/4 inch, which is what comes off of the pump over here. And then the second, the last 200 feet is 5/8 hose. Downstream injector, of course. On these valves, most are used to seeing the white, Home Depot valves that are hard to turn. They are also very cheap. Schedule 80, I suppose. Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, honestly, I'm not sure what they are. I just know that they're cheap. These are really nice. They turn super easy. And the way they're designed, I'm not going to take it apart right now. Don't worry about that. But again, this is cam locked all the way up to the end. So when it comes time to winterize in the winter, take these completely off, so you don't have to worry about your shutoffs, your valves, your fittings freezing. This tank already, I got it used. Already had a big bulkhead here, so I just put this cap on it. So again, if you want to do a quick drain, pop that off, flows like crazy. Same thing here. Of course, that goes to the 2 pressure washers. Let's see, anything else about the trailer itself? Oh, the toolbox. All of this goes with it. So we've got our guns. That's for your P40. And then I love these triggerless guns. This thing is a belt shot. I need to change this fitting to, I'll show you, I got one in the down in the thing. So everything's organized. I have to stay organized or I'll go crazy and forget stuff. So every kind of fitting, extra downstream injectors, all your Biton O-rings, different types of hose clamps. These T-clamps are absolutely the best. They're expensive as all get out, but I use them on a lot of places on that P40. This is what I was talking about. That other two-way J-rod type of thing. I won't go over what's on all these, but basically high pressure, low pressure. These are for decks, cleaning decks, and turbo nozzle. Got that. Swivels, gauges, another shooter tip, and then just regular old hand tools that you need. If you didn't know, your nozzles on your surface cleaners, 9/16, those 1/4-inch MIG nozzles. You just keep one of these on hand. Makes a world of difference, just swapping out those nozzles when you need to. That or a 9/16 open end. Just regular old stuff here. I don't lock it up, but you can. And this is just a generator cover that I decided to use. I did have all this in the back of the truck, but started dropping this off, leaving a guy somewhere with it, so he needs to have all the tools handy. I think that's it. So on to everything else that comes with this cell. So as you saw, hose reels, basic, very basic. I've slowly upgraded this trailer, and it's pretty much everything except for this in the back. I was going to get electric reels eventually, but hadn't got there, so I'll leave it up to somebody else instead of buying them and then bumping up the price on this. Leave it as is. At one point I had thought about using these older ones. They work perfectly fine, but the bottoms are eroded. I was just gonna tack on a plate on each of these, so as far as mounting, it'd be good as new. So 2 of those, 3 of 100-foot sections. That's 3/4-inch hose. Used those in a parking garage recently. That wheelbarrow is actually for sealing aggregate. So if you've ever sealed aggregate, you use this thick acrylic sealer, and you can usually put, I don't know, a couple gallons, let's see, maybe 3 gallons or so into these, little smaller pails. Using this, it's great. You can put in like 3 5-gallon buckets, maybe 2 if depending on, landscape, and go to town with your sealing. That's the gas tank that came with the burner that we took off. These 2 tanks, they're just here. You may or may not use them or want them. Use them for your grill. I'll show you inside. I've got a torch you could use. This is extra Tyvek that I haven't cut up yet. The Lowe's version. Scrap metal. All this goes with it. Then over here, this is my Tyvek property protection. So it's all cut up into different sizes. And you got those 2-inch clamps. Hold it down. Got spare bars for some other surface cleaners. Which actually, you probably saw it, but I didn't mention it. So this 19-inch Extreme surface cleaner, brand new. Haven't even ran it yet. So that one's brand new. And if you don't know about the Extremes, they cost more because they're aluminum, but the aluminum versions, the quote-unquote Extreme, are made for your higher flow machines, like your 8-10 gallon a minute. So you don't have to put a weight on those to hold them down. The weight of the aluminum makes up for it. So it sits flush with the ground, flows perfectly. Don't have to add a weight. So super cool. While we're talking about surface cleaners, so got the 24-inch. It works perfectly fine. I was getting a new brush for it, new clips, and I've also got a kit for this pressure regulator that is on this one. And I might as well tell you what that's about. If you don't know, you can look it up. It's usually listed as Craig's pressure regulator, because Craig of F9 is the one that started using this, which is great. So if you're wanting to lower your pressure, if you're going from concrete to asphalt, and you don't use near as much pressure on asphalt, you can literally crack this, maybe, yep, and then your pressure will go down. And obviously having this, you can watch it. So if you set it at, you get down, you're like, all right, 2000 is perfect. Well, then if you have to swap back and forth from one service to another, just dial it into that. Also, having a gauge is real good, because people don't think about with spray tips, they wear out. The orifice gets larger over time just from wear. So the larger the orifice, the lower your pressure is going to be. So it's really a good idea to just schedule replacing your tips like once a month. Of course, it depends on volume, how much you're using it and such. So having this gauge, you'll know if you're always running at 3,500, it starts creeping down, then you'll know, because if you don't, you won't notice it, but it'll be slowing you down overall and you won't realize it. So that one does not have a skirt. I ripped it off recently. This one does. So these two actually combine into one totally functioning whisper wash. And those casters, I like the casters on them for reasons I will not get into right now. Just got aluminum, step ladder, another 100 foot of pressure hose. Again, 400 feet total, 200 of it is brand new, like a month old. And then the other two is, I don't know, maybe 6 or 9 months old. This is just all the spare hose, different sizes. And this right here, previous to this trailer, I had 2 of the 330 gallon totes, with the metal cages around them. I have them connected together. So I had this shut off where I could isolate just one tank, because most of the time I just kept that one tank full. But if I was going to do a parking garage or something where I needed a lot of volume, open it up, fill both tanks. Let's see. This is harnesses, lift work, 2 of them. Extra fuel hose, back where I started a minute ago. 2 extra bars for the 24-inch whisper wash, a new one for the 19-inch. That's an empty bucket. That's an empty battery box. This is basically an empty bucket. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's my label. Undiluted degreaser. So this back here, I guess I should have had it out in the open more. I rigged this up to spray, concrete sealer, like the water-based stuff, or any type of chemicals that you need, just a bunch of it and not just a pump up sprayer. So you've got the Milwaukee battery, hook it up there. This is everything that converts it. Run the pump. This is the drop tube. This drop tube is for a 5-gallon bucket. And then I've got this one already in this bucket. So just connected with garden hose fitting. And this folds up really small. On-off switch. Sealer. So if you're not familiar with the local stuff here in Nashville from Absolute Chemical, Aqua Armor, WB, it is your clear penetrating, like saline siloxane, silane siloxane, penetrating sealer, water-based. So when you put it on, you can't even tell it's on once it's dried. All these buckets, 5 gallons, are full. Let's see. That one is brown tinted aggregate sealer. That bottom one is also aggregate sealer. These 2 are aggregate sealer. Hot stain remover is, I think it's full. Oh no, only got about a 1/4 of a bucket left. This is sand. So when filling joints or cracks, when doing aggregate sealing, I don't use that crap that Home Depot and everyone sells, the Eagle, in a bottle. You shake it up. It takes way too long and it's too expensive. So we pour the sand in, and if it's a really big crack where the sand will just keep flowing and flowing, we use backer rod. Put that in there first. Pour your sand in, level it off, and then take a cup and just pour a line of sealer right over top of it. And then, let that harden up a little bit. By the time you're done with the cracks, come back, roll right over it. This is actually a roller frame for the aggregate sealer. Holes. Deco 20. Awesome product you can get anywhere, which is the same type of sealer for sealing concrete, but it won't leave any changed appearance. This stuff is super cool. By the same company, Deco. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and a partial of these, and this stuff, actually I did it over here. It's not, you're not putting down new asphalt, it's a conditioner. So you get that rich black coloring again. And I did this last year. I don't know, it's probably been 2 years now. Of course, this gets beat to shit with the trailer. Over here, everything still looking good. So I can tell you more about that if you want to know. This generator does not work, but I'm not a mechanic per se. It's like small engines. I tried to clean out the carburetor, first one in my life. It still didn't start. But it's just been sitting so long. I know that's all it is. It's just gummed up. Probably need to replace the I don't know, whatever you call it, in the fuel nozzle or something, because I just cleaned it out instead of replacing it. A-frame sign. And then we get in here. So all this goes. So we got chemicals of all kinds. Gutter cleaner, surfactants, scent covers. We got Nutripods, percarbonate cleaner. Got some of the EcoChem art there for what do you call it? Anodized aluminum, like window frames and things that get you muck up with using acids. Great product. I got some awning cleaner, got some more RV stuff, and all these fittings. All these are stainless steel, standard stuff, extra caster. This is my, what I was talking about for winterizing. I disconnect all the all those cam locks on the chemical tanks, hook this up, drop this into a bucket of antifreeze, and suck it up in there. This is also for winterizing. Hook it up to an air compressor, blow out your garden hoses, blow out your high pressure lines. Got an extra filter with the stand. And then, you know, just a little bit of everything. These are all 1-inch cam locks. That's the torch back there that hooks up to the propane tanks. I've used it for killing weeds in cracks before. I charge extra for it. You know, people say you can use that for getting oil out. You have to be incredibly careful if you do that, because if you heat the concrete too fast, you can pop it. So you got to be very delicate. So just remember that when you're taking advice from people. It's not just a quick, simple thing. Oh, these fittings, more of the sand. This motor is still good. Actually, I bought that used like 4 years ago. It was used at the time, but it had an old, I don't know what they call them, rotary pump or something on them. But no, I got rid of that, so it's still there. Oh. What else we got over here? Got all your plumber's dope and stuff, some extra electrical, extra 2.2 pump for the little cart. This is stuff that you put into your eye wash. Maintenance. Cleansall BC is full. One of these EcoChem one restores is completely full, and the other one is almost empty. If you're into building stuff, rigs, we can work out a deal with all these. Most of it, well, not most of it, a lot of the smaller stuff is stainless steel. So a lot of money right there. But I won't include that in the price, but we can, if you're interested, let me know. Keeping my blowers. You get my property protection kit. Got everything you need for preparing a home. Trash bags of different sizes. You got, you know, latex gloves, your hair nets, scissors, butyl tape. I like red danger tape instead of yellow caution tape for stuff, because nobody pays attention to yellow caution tape anymore. Or they probably never have. I figure maybe I'll get somebody's attention with the red danger. But that is that. I'm not selling this, but keeps you cool in the summertime. Call me a pansy if you want, but I'm old. It attaches to your hip. Feels great. Let's see. None of this. This is all that stuff. So something else I can include, but it won't be included in the price. All of the, well, of course, I picked the two that are empty. all these lugs for wiring. So this is what, so tinned copper compared to the regular old brass crap, which you can use on a car. I mean, that's why I have that, I think. I don't remember what I bought those for. But yeah. Again, tin copper costs more, but it's amazing. Another thing with electrical, all of the electrical in there crimps are done with a hydraulic crimp, which is a must. If you just do it with your channel locks or something like that, it will pull off. And like, I put this in this vise just to, I mean, you can't really tell, but I'm pulling it extremely hard. I might pull it out of there. That's kind of the power of using an actual hydraulic crimp. It's a must. All this will go with it too. Got a 12 volt. Got this, I forget what these two-way or these hookups are called, but stuff that I use for building that little portable 12 volt cart. See this? Nice. You just hook straight up to a battery if you need to. Fuses. Oh, I think that is it. Yep, that is it. So, hope somebody got something from this. If you got any questions, leave it in the comments. I'm gonna put this, make it a YouTube video since there is some information in it somebody might find valuable. So if you got any questions, just leave them in the comments, and if you're interested, give me a shout. I'll put my number in the notes below. All right, thank y'all. Have a good day.